Greetings, salutations, and welcome to Sportslook, the sports television program for the high plains of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. I'm your host, Doc Elder, and just like monsoon season this year, we have arrived just a little bit later than usual. And just like monsoon season, we're going to take the sports world by storm. We've got Johnny Smith and Paul Terry from Greyhound Football as our first two guests. We got Ryan Shoemaker, the assistant athletic director, as our second guest. Landry and Orlando will cover a high school spotlight, Portales versus West Las Vegas. I'll finish up with an overtime. But as always, I'll start out with an Eastern recap. Greyhound Volleyball started out the year with a tournament in California, and congratulations to Jasmine Gannon. She was first team all-tournament. Cross-country teams ran in the Buffalo Stampede, and the Greyhound ladies finished fourth. Greyhound guys came in sixth place. We had Greyhound women's soccer. They had their first match of the season, and they got a victory. And if you think that's good, Greyhound men's soccer had two matches, won both of those, including a win Sunday against the number 3 team in the nation, Fort Hays State. Well, that has been your Eastern recap, so we'll clear the set and we'll bring in our first guests, Johnny Smith and Paul Terry, right now. Welcome back to Sportslook, and we bring to the set our first guest for the new season of Sportslook. We've got Paul Terry, we've got Johnny Smith from Greyhound Football. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Well, Paul, you are the fullback for the Greyhound football team. It was interesting, I was talking to Kelly Lee about you, and he said you were disappointed in the year you had last year, and you ran for almost 1,000 yards. What was disappointing about 900 and some yards?
I just kind of was expecting a little bit more, like, for myself in general. Like, I know it's a team and everything, but, like, I just wanted to help the team out a little bit more than I did. I know I just got a lot of belief in myself and what I can do on the field.
Well, Johnny, we had the privilege of having you on as a guest last year, and I remember talking to you about how you're a running back with the Greyhounds, but you were actually a wide receiver to begin your high school career. Yeah. Are you still learning every, or do you think you got it kind of mastered what it's like to be a running back now?
Well, I've been playing like running back for Eastern for 4 years now, and like I'm pretty sure I got it under control and stuff.
What was the most important lesson you had to learn about being a running back and being running back at Eastern?
Definitely being physical on my runs and my vision, like getting in the second level.
Well, Paul, both of you guys are Texans, and Johnny comes from down south towards El Paso. You come from pretty close to one of our big rivals. What was it that got you across the state line and got you to Eastern?
Well, I mean, I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, they didn't recruit me.
Okay, that's
a lot of people know this story, but I mean, they didn't recruit me. So Eastern was actually the next offer I had. So, I decided to come here, and then had to put the whooping up on the WT Buffs.
As well you guys have for the last couple of years. Paul, what was the biggest adjustment for you going from high school system to going to what Eastern runs?
So like in my high school, it was just like more of like a spread defense. So I was always in like the gun. And then I've never really been in, like coming here, I've never been in like a 3-point stance coming off the ball and getting it. So that was mainly like the big difference. But other than that, I mean, it's kind of the same. I just do me on the field and hopefully it works.
Johnny, you guys opened up the season against Missouri S&T, and to be honest, it was a team that pretty well throttled you guys last year, and you guys just, you were almost unstoppable. What was the big difference between last year's game and this year's game?
I'd have to give a lot of credit to our O-line. Like, they really stepped up from last year. We had some boys making a lot of big plays for us, and yeah, that's where it starts on our offense. So.
Well, I like to see individuals who are humble like you guys and give credit is due to the O-line. Guys, we had a crew out there filming highlights for us of the game against Missouri S&T. We've got a whole highlight reel, so let's cue it up, and why don't you guys walk us through the game against S&T. Really good crowd for you guys, so a lot of excitement there.
This is a good atmosphere.
His first play, I was just trying to get the game going, get us started on a long drive for us, get the crowd into it, get the energy up, and I was just I was just glad I was able to get it going and get the whole team going.
Yeah,
There's your
when
senior
Paul
quarterback.
Terry gets going, we know it's going to be a good game because it opens up a lot for us.
Good second effort.
Yeah. Mhm.
Why is definitely the biggest I think he's the biggest key of our offense, honestly. He just knows what to do, get everybody in the right positions, and call the right plays in general. Coach Lee kind of gives him a little leeway to call the play, so
Yeah.
we have 100% trust in him and whatever he calls.
And a big run for you, Johnny.
Yeah.
Get going.
Should have scored, but
Great addition to our team, Zachary Fields,
Yeah.
and he's going to be a big part of our winning season this year.
yeah, this is Tafari Gomillion.
Isn't that a great name?
Yeah. he's-
Upcoming freshman.
Yeah, he's
putting
also
on a
from
show.
Amarillo.
Yeah, rep 806.
Yeah, we're just going to keep giving it to Paul on the goal line.
That flip. This is also, he was our defensive player of the game, Lamontre Huval. So definitely a big step up to our defense, along with Noah Schweitzer at the backers.
Yeah, they had gone for around 4th and 2, and you stopped them.
White running hard like he always does.
Every
Yep.
play. Never gives up.
Kind of got smacked. Had to go get the first though.
Yep.
For the team.
Yeah.
Got to bounce right up.
Touchdown. Next play.
Just kind of trying to set the tone again,
Keep the
It's
energy.
our house,
Keep the energy up.
Protect it.
And Paul,
This is actually key to our touchdown drive to put us up. So that third down right there, kept us going.
yep.
We had some good blocks on this play to put us up.
Yeah.
It was really exciting.
And now the big defensive play.
Yep. Vicente.
Might have been the play of the year, honestly. It honestly iced the game for us, and that's a key player for our defense now. Making plays like that. Kind of, we didn't have that last year, and now Vicente coming over and making a play like that, first game, kind of set the tone for the defense for the whole year.
Yeah, and that was a quality team. I mean, they had gone
Yeah.
10-2 last year. They won a bowl game, and you guys they literally could not stop you.
They're a real disciplined and physical team, but we just schemed real well. Coach set up a good game plan
Coach
for
Lee
us.
had a real good game plan for us. He just I think he studied a lot, and he kind of had a sour taste in his mouth last year. So I think, and then the whole team kind of just knew what was going to happen this year. We were so prepared, so ready to take on this, this role to be the winning team we all want to be, and you can see it in our first game.
And a key stat that may have gone unnoticed, you guys only punted once in the ball game.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I think it just goes down to our hard running.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to stop us this game, and we just wanted to show everybody that we're a better team this year. Last year was a fluke, and we're ready to put on a show this year.
And you guys have another tough game this week. You guys are going up to Colorado to play against Colorado Mesa, and they're again a team that, if you look at their last 4 years, I mean, they've won 40 football games in 4 years. That's really saying a lot.
Yeah.
What can we expect from them, Paul?
I would just say they're a lot of stand-up D-line. So they're not as fast as say Missouri S&T, maybe not as disciplined. So we're gonna try to get on the perimeter, and kind of work our stuff out there, and because we got a lot of athletes this year, so we need to use all of them.
Well, Johnny, obviously, if one of you guys had a really big game against Missouri S&T, I imagine Colorado Mesa would try and take away the guy with the big game. But both you guys went over 100 yards. So
Yeah.
who do you think, are they going to try and take away the outside, or do you think they're going to key on Paul?
Well, that's the beauty of the triple option. Whatever they do, try to stop, we're just going to go the opposite way with it. So we're all going to get ours as long as everybody's doing their assignments.
Obviously, when you guys have 7 starters coming back on offense, 7 on D, you have a pretty good idea of what those guys are going to bring to the table. Who's been the most pleasant surprise to you of the 4 guys that are new starters on offense?
So I would have to say he got offensive player of the game actually. Bailey Adair, guard. He's had a little troubles in the class last few years, but he got his thing going this year and got to prove his talent on the field. And I don't know if it was really a surprise because he's one of our strongest guys in the weight room. So it was just good seeing him get out there and put all the hard work to the test and get it done.
If memory serves me, Johnny, you guys play 2 road games. You play Colorado Mesa, then you play Texas A&M Commerce. Your next home game is actually not just any home game; it's the homecoming game. And what's homecoming mean to you?
Well, what our coach tells us is the homecoming is for the fans and our alumni, and like they're there for the football game. So homecoming, we really just like to focus on the game, treat it like any other game, and just get that win for our school.
For the alma mater, exactly. Well, guys, thanks so much for being my guest. Congratulations on the win last Saturday, and good luck against Mesa.
Thank you,
sir.
thank
Thanks
you.
for having us.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our first interview segment. So what we'll do is we'll go to the set and we'll cue up a high school spotlight right now.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of High School Spotlight. I'm Landry Widener,
And I'm Orlando Perez.
and last Friday night we went down to Greyhound Stadium to catch the Portales Rams as they took on the West Las Vegas Dons.
This was an action-packed game from the get-go, and there's plenty of highlights to look at, so let's dive right into it.
West Las Vegas will get things going through the air with quarterback John Balazan hitting number 4 Omar Gallardo, who is quickly taken down by the Rams defense.
Several plays later, the Rams would get inside the 5-yard line and get in the end zone with a nice quarterback counter. That's number 15 Baylor Diaz for the Rams.
Back on offense for the Dons, there's number 12 Damian Gallegos with a big run and gets tripped up inside the 40.
Damian Gallegos will keep the wheels turning for the Dons. Gallegos running hard through the Rams defense for the Dons' first touchdown of the night. The Dons tie things up after the made field goal. The score is now 7-7 midway through the first.
The Rams, shaken but not stirred, go with a quick pitch. That's number 23 Romeo Basagi running right at the camera and speeding past the Dons defense. He'll take this one 60 yards to the house, giving the lead back to the Rams 14-7 with 7:30 left in the first.
The Dons would be forced to punt on their ensuing drive, and Diaz would find his target, Kellen Hightower, for the first down.
Inching their way down the field, the Rams decide to hand it off to number 7 Jordan Garcia, who coughs up the ball but quickly recovers it, which will put the Rams up another 6 with 1:58 left in the first.
And that was just the first quarter, Landry. We still got 3 more to go. We'll get the second quarter going with a Diaz scramble and run as he takes off down the near sideline, plowing through defenders to set up the Rams offense with nice field position.
And the Rams would capitalize on that nice field position by feeding it to Basagi once again for the short touchdown. This will put the Rams up 26-7 with 9:05 left in the first half.
West Las Vegas trying to fight their way back into this one, but the Rams defense looking stout and coming up with a big interception.
The Rams back on offense. Diaz struggling to make a play, but the Dons complete the double sack with Aaron Pata and Eric Gallegos.
A few plays later, Diaz and the offensive line make up for that sack by hitting number 6 Dason Davis deep down the field for another Rams touchdown. The Rams starting to run away with this one early, 33-7.
The Rams defense forces a turnover and get Basagi back in the game with a big run as he shakes and bakes through the Dons defense before finally being brought down by several defenders.
The Rams threatening to score again before the half, but the Dons defense coming up with a nice stop to send both teams into the locker room, with the Rams nursing a 26-point lead.
Starting off the second half, there's Balazan hitting his target to Gallardo. Balazan will look to do more of the same. He rolls right and looks for his receiver, but it goes through his hands and is tipped before Rodriguez makes the diving interception.
The Rams looking to add to their already impressive lead, and the Diaz-Hightower connection would continue into the second half for a nice gain.
The Dons defense dials up a blitz and successfully puts pressure on Diaz, forcing a fumble and a change of possession for the Dons. That's number 51, Josiah Baca.
The Rams defense was able to hold up, and Basagi would walk his way into the end zone for another touchdown.
The Dons looking to get things going with the receiver screen. That's number 8, Estevan Gonzalez, running up the sideline for a big gain. However, that drive would stall out.
Backup quarterback Hagan Rains filling in for Diaz, and he would pick up right where he left off as Rains takes off up the field, and Rains getting his Heisman on as he stiff arms a defender before being brought down at the 10-yard line.
Rains will quickly get the ball out to number 22, Ethan Conroe. Conroe, with a nice cutback, empowers his way into the end zone for his first touchdown of the game. The Rams will go on to win this one at home, 46-7.
Thanks for watching High School Spotlight.
Before we throw it back to Doc, make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates, photos, and highlights.
Once again, I'm Orlando Perez.
And I'm Landry Widener, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome back to Sportslook. Thanks to Orlando and Landry for that look at the Portales victory on Friday night against West Las Vegas. Now bring back to the set one of my favorite people at Eastern New Mexico University, Ryan Shoemaker. Ryan, welcome back to Sportslook.
Appreciate it, Doc. I appreciate that compliment, too. It's always an honor being on here and speaking with you.
And Ryan, it seems like every time I talk to you, you've got a different job title. And so what is the working job title you have right now?
Now I am the Assistant AD for Sports Information, Events, and Marketing. So I've moved into that position at the beginning of July. Really excited for it and feel like it's gone pretty well so far.
Well, in case people missed any of your previous appearances, what is your association to the world of sports?
So I've played sports all my life, and when I worked in, when I was in college, I played golf, and I really just needed a job, as many college kids do. And I was walking through our athletic building one day and stopped by our sports information director's office, and he had happened to be a golfer, so I had kind of that connection. And I basically just asked him, hey, man, I need a job. And he said, well, I'm always looking to hire student help. And so I started out as a student worker, and I really enjoyed it. And then I kind of started asking more questions and getting more involved. That next year, I forewent, I guess would be the term, my senior year for golf and was an athletic communication assistant there. And then I got back into golf, and I was an assistant coach for the golf teams and an assistant athletic communications guy. And then I came here and I started out as the coordinator of sports information and media, and then I moved into the sports information director role, and now I've moved into a assistant AD for marketing, events, and sports information role. So those are kind of all my associations so far, and looking to keep going, I guess.
Who, if you had to point to one individual, maybe it's impossible, but if you had to point to one individual and say that person was your mentor in helping you become the now assistant athletic director, who was the biggest influence on you?
I think it's hard to narrow that down to one person. You know, I think everybody's kind of a product of multiple things, and for me, that's multiple people. The first person that comes to mind is my dad. You know, I look up to him in numerous ways, and I think, as a professional, he's really inspired me and I guess mentored me in a lot of different scenarios. Even though his background's not really in athletics, you know, he still has been successful in his field. So I think he has been a mentor per se. Dr. Kaiser, that recruited me to play golf at Northwestern Oklahoma State, he really helped me out getting into the sports information world and just going on, long golf trips with him and absorbing some of his knowledge, I think really helped. And then our former athletic director here, Dr. Greg Wagner, was just so instrumental for me. He taught me so much, and I learned many more things beyond just how to work in collegiate athletics, but how to be a leader and how to be overall just a good person. So I would say those three people really come to mind when I think of mentors, but there's just been so many good people along the way that have helped me in so many capacities, and I'm just blessed for that.
And now we have a young man by the name of Zach Alfers, who is our new SID. What has been like the best bit of advice that you have given him based on your experience last year as our SID?
I feel like I say this to every person I work with, whether it be a student worker or Zach coming in to the sports information director role. Never forget your why. And I say that in a lot of different ways, but that's something I've always truly believed in. I truly love working in collegiate athletics. I love being around sports. I love working here at Eastern New Mexico, and as is the case with every single job you're going to have throughout your life, you're going to have frustrations and you're going to have bad days. And especially in collegiate athletics, working events and working games, games you lose, games that don't go right, you're going to get upset and frustrated. But you have to always remember that, hey, you chose to do this and you chose to do it for a reason, and enjoy it, and don't get so bogged down in all the negative things that you forget that. And I think that's really important among everything else. Don't forget, to type in the right stuff for statting, or don't forget to proofread your releases. I think just remembering that, to enjoy the moment and don't forget your why, I think is probably the most important thing that I have tried to preach to him.
Right now, Ryan, we have a number of, if you were a juggler, you wouldn't just have three balls in the air. You've got both cross-country squads, you got volleyball, you got football, rodeo taking place. What was the most difficult learning experience for you regarding the fall sports?
Oh, man, I think just exactly what you just mentioned, juggling all of them. All of our sports are important, and all of them deserve all the coverage that we can give them. And so I think juggling that and balancing that to where there's fairness, yet at the same time, if one sport's being very successful, hyping up and promoting those successes, but at the same time, no matter what the results on the field, court, track, rodeo arena are, they all deserve to be covered. And to me, I think coming from a sport like golf that may not get the most media coverage and the most respect, if you will, that's really important to me. So being able to juggle all that is something that I've learned over the years, and I feel like I'm getting better at, but it's still something that in the sports information world you have to continue to improve upon.
With sports at Eastern New Mexico University, there are so many people that play a role that people may not even know. And we've got a new facilities manager, Mike Molina, and I mean, if facilities aren't up to speed, everybody notices, especially home fans.
Absolutely. Mike's been awesome. We've had some change in the athletic department this summer. People moving roles, people leaving, people coming in. And the team we have in place right now, is just awesome. You think about our sports teams, they constantly have players coming in, players going out. And so we kind of look at it the same way. They have to make adjustments every year, and so do we. And so Mike's really stepped into his role, and he's been awesome so far. He's done things that have gone above and beyond what we've asked, and having him as a part of our leadership team has truly been a blessing. And you're exactly right. There's so many parts that go into not just, they work in the athletic department, but so many parts of an athletic event that I think people sometimes forget about it. And Mike plays a huge role in that, and he's done awesome so far, and I can't say enough good things about him.
Football hasn't been affected by a change that's taken place in the Lone Star Conference, but I would dare say every other sport has been impacted. What are the early returns on how the expanded Lone Star Conference is affecting our athletics?
Very positive. I think recruiting, our coaches can go out and pitch, hey, we are in the biggest conference in Division II across the nation. And for many of them, they can say, without a doubt, we are the best conference in the nation. And then those that can't say that for sure, they have a pretty good guess that they're at least in the top three. And so I think for recruiting, it's been really positive. For the overall brand of Eastern New Mexico, it's been positive. We had teams traveling in non-conference to California to South Dakota, and now even in conference, we have teams traveling regularly all across Texas and to Oklahoma, Arkansas, and so growing the Eastern New Mexico brand, I think, has been a positive. One of the things we did to help that is sign the new deal with Under Armour, a new apparel contract, which I think is going to be huge, unifying our teams on the field and what they're wearing. And man, as a sports guy, I like to see good competition, so I think it's good to watch. Hopefully our fans this year are going to come out and see some really good athletic events. They definitely got two this weekend. You can't ask for a better start. So I think it's overall just such a positive thing to be in that type of conference that's so elite.
And Ryan, we'll give you a chance to do some free advertising if people want to follow Eastern Athletics. I believe there's a website.
There is a website, as a matter of fact, goeasternathletics.com. We're also really active on social media, Twitter at ENMU Athletics, on Facebook at our Facebook page, easternnewmexicoathletics.com, and then on Instagram as well at ENMU Athletics. So we'll get you up to date on all things Eastern New Mexico athletics, and we appreciate everybody's support.
Well, Ryan, congratulations on the success that you've had in your brief but meteoric career here at Eastern, and let's hope it's another banner year for Eastern Athletics.
I appreciate that, Doc. It's been my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be a really good one.
All right, well, that is going to wrap up our second and final interview segment. So what we'll do is we'll clear the set, and I'll finish up with an overtime right now. One of our proudest moments on Sportslook was 6 years ago. We did an entire episode on Title IX, the idea that you should have equality in women's sports and men's sports on the college level. Well, obviously, Kent, Ohio, not within our broadcast range, because this past weekend at Kent State University, a field hockey match, and yes, that is a women's sport on the collegiate level, a women's field hockey match was stopped and was canceled with double overtime still taking place. And you know why? Because they needed that field to shoot off fireworks as part of the pregame for the Kent State University football game. I can't even tell you how indignant I am at this moment at Kent State University. Well, that is going to wrap up in overtime, and that will wrap up an episode of Sportslook. I would like to thank my guests, Paul Terry and Johnny Smith from Greyhound Football. I'd like to thank Ryan Shoemaker, the assistant athletic director. Had a floor crew made up of veterans and rookies, and they all performed spectacularly. So for all those aforementioned people, this is Doc Elder saying, so long.
Oh, snap.
Ew. Oh, gross.